Hey, Shalom Akim. First and foremost, and give all praise and glory unto Yahweh, Ba'Hashem Yahushai, Ba'Shem Rachak Kudash. Double honors unto the elders, apostles of Great Millstone. The elders of Great Millstone, and of course, peace and blessings unto the hopeful elect, the sincere servants of Yahweh, Ba'Hashem Yahushai, serve him in truth and sincerity. Yeah, so coming back with another lesson through the Spirit. This lesson will be based off of this article. And, really just recent events the recent event that just passed, which was Iran hitting Israel with missiles. As the title says in the article, it says Iran's counterattack following embassy bombing exposes serious weakness in Israel's defenses. It says, continuing on, it is apparent that Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu thinks he is leading the Jewish state to a victory in the Middle East, but his recent attack on Iran's consulate in Syria, which was followed by an Iranian counterattack against Israel, tells a much different story. It says, instead of showing the world that Israel is protected and ready for whatever comes its way, Netanyahu's plan is backfiring that Iran was able to show the world that it can strike any Israeli target it chooses with ease. While in its retaliation, Iran saw about 99% of its rockets intercepted by Israel's Iron Dome. With one missile hitting its target in southern Israel, Iran sent a clear message that it has the weapons it needs at its disposal to keep Israel in check militarily. Yeah, so there you have it, man. And as we know, obviously Iran didn't use the best of its best missiles, to hit Israel. We can, obviously this kind of just more of a warning attack. Nothing super, to actually, do great damage. Obviously Iran is aware of Israel's Iron Dome, and they didn't send the best of their best missiles. And to prove that, I got this article. It says, did Iran deploy hypersonic missiles in attack on Israel? By the way, this is posted on April 16th, 2024. It says, the new footage of Iran's April 14 attack on Israel circulated by state-affiliated Iranian media has offered clues about the missiles that were deployed. Some outlets claim that the much touted hypersonic Fatah missile was used to evade Israeli air defenses and successfully hit designated targets. However, observers highlight that mostly older models were fired, and that projectiles such as the newer and more advanced Fatah will likely only be deployed in response to an Israeli attack. And you can go more into this article. Those what I included within the description. But, hey, it's obvious they didn't use the best of their best missiles. But what's the point of me bringing this out? Hey, again, as his prophets were constantly watching, and again, this is something, hey, to show the times that we are in. We're clearly at the end times, and it's only going to get worse from here on out. Continuing on the first article, it says, for at least a third time in the past 14 years, Netanyahu tried to drag the United States into the fight against Iran. And for at least a third time, the U.S. has refused to play ball, allowing Israel to stand alone, effectively if it wants to unleash a full-scale regional war in the Middle East. Yeah, and a lot of people, because I was reading some of these different articles, such as this one right here says, breaking, Israel vows to retaliate against Iran with new devastating strike. And you see right here in parentheses, World War III. And without a doubt, we're inching closer and closer towards World War III. And World War III is on the horizon. And if you scroll down, I'm really reading these tweets that's included within this article. So someone says, skipping down, it says, this tweet is especially spot on. I do truly believe the next 48 hours could be the most important in our lives or in our lifetimes. Yeah, so people are basically in that spirit of thinking that, oh, hey, this is gonna unleash World War III, the end is gonna come, and hey, World War III is gonna happen right now. Which, again, we're inching closer and closer towards World War III as we speak. But this is not the end of an end, meaning when Yahushua will come back, because as we know, Yahushua will come back in the midst of World War III. The climax of World War III, when these different nations are, firing its missiles upon one another. As we know, the scriptures say how Babylon the Great will be destroyed by nuclear fire, and these other nations will make an alliance against Babylon the Great, which is America, and even against the state of Israel to completely destroy it. Yeah, America won't come back. America, after it cools down, from that long fire that it will endure, it'll eventually become a desert, and it'll become a place never to be inhabited again, as the scriptures say. But Israel, of course, will be restored, as we know that the true biblical Israelites, being so-called Negroes, Native Americans, Latinos, will come back onto that land, and it'll be restored once again. And the Lord will restore all the boundaries, and really, because as we know, the state of Israel is actually smaller than the land of Israel mentioned within the Bible. State of Israel is actually smaller. Showing you that those aren't the true people, because the scriptures say how literally when the true people of the Lord come back, of course, being us Israelites, being so-called Negroes, Native Americans, Latinos, and of course, there are Israelite foreigners who have been scattered amongst these other nations, pertaining to Deuteronomy chapter 28:64. The Lord said how he's going to give us the land of Israel. He's not going to give us a state of Israel. He's going to give us the land of Israel. And as well as these other lands as well. We're going to rule the whole entire world. But hey, we're going to be given our land back, which is the nation of Israel. But to stay on point, yes, World War III, what happened? America will be destroyed, Israel will be destroyed, because these other nations will team up with one another to take it down with nuclear fire, with nuclear missiles. And that will be the exact same time when Yahushua comes back to deliver his elect from this upcoming destruction. As America is being pelted and these missiles are being fired and shot to America, guess what? The Lord's going to make a deliverance, salvation for his elect Israelites who have been serving him, who have been enduring within his truth. So yeah, a lot of people think that, hey, in the next 2 days, World War III could happen. Russia and the U.S. will be sending missiles upon one another, China, and then that will be the end. And which, hey, there's still one prophecy that we're waiting for. As the scriptures say, real quick, Matthew chapter 24, which, by the way, is the same chapter where the disciples ask Yahushua what the end times will look like. What signs and what events will be happening. Basically, so that they know that they are at the end. And Yahushua gave them the answer. And one of the things that Yahushua mentioned was right here in verse 6 in Matthew chapter 24. It says, and ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. Yes, so all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet, meaning that there's still remaining prophecies to happen. And such as the implementation of the mark of the beast. The mark of the beast still hasn't been implemented within society. The scriptures say how, to read it real quick, Revelation chapter 13 and 16, it says, and he caused all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or on their foreheads. It also says in verse 15, going up one verse, and he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak, and cause that as many as will not worship the image of the beast shall be killed. Yeah, the image of the beast ultimately going back onto the system of the ancient Roman Empire. But as we know, America is really a revival of the ancient Roman Empire. And the system that you see in America will eventually develop into that ultimate system, which is the NWO, which is going to come to a point where if you don't take this mark of the beast, then you won't be able to be a part of it. And as we know, it says in verse 17, and you might be killed, you might be thrown in prison. Ultimately, you'll be considered an outcast to this society. So yeah, also says verse 17, and that no man might buy or sell, save he that had a mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. Yeah, so it's going to come to a point where if you don't have this mark, which, by the way, this mark is something physical. When you get that Greek word for charagma, or mark, it's the Greek word charagma, which within Revelation chapter 13, that word for mark within the Greek is charagma, which means basically a physical stamp, basically something that's cut into within your flesh, a scratch or etching, something that's etched into you, which is clearly that RFID implant. That's what, as it says right here, it says, and that no man might buy or sell, save he that had a mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. So as we know, the RFID implant clearly has electronic payment capabilities. You can make transactions with it. And that's going to be the same exact device they use to try to put within everybody. As we know, it also has tracking and monitoring capabilities within it. So that if you take it, they're going to be able to, get a lot of data and be able to monitor you. So without a doubt, that's going to be what they use. That's going to be the biggest thing they use within this very near NWO that they're coming with. But yeah, to get in this article, it says, or to go back to this article, it says Iran has maintained composure amid all this, patiently stating that it will not strike Israel again if there is a ceasefire in Gaza. Netanyahu is refusing to do that, instead promising to retaliate against Iran's retaliation. This means that things are about to get really ugly in the Middle East, thanks to Israel's refusal to stop the aggression. Yeah, and to go back to Matthew chapter 24 and 6, it says, and ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. So again, the ultimate final prophecy that we're waiting for before the coming of Yahushua is the implementation of the mark of the beast. Until that happens, then again, and we understand that we are at the end times, but the very end when Yahushua comes back won't happen until that mark of the beast is implemented. Yeah, and can this mark of the beast, this RFID implant, be implemented within the next couple of months, or the next few months? Hey, Lord's will, it does. Could it be next year? Hey, it very well could be. But as we know, until that happens, the end is not yet. So we're going to hear different wars and rumors of wars, such as this is an example right here. And again, nothing super, serious happened concerning this attack. It was just, mainly one missile got through Israel's defense. It's Iron Dome. But it was nothing super destructive to where, other nations had to step in. It was just, again, it was, it wasn't a great big attack to start off World War III. And again, we are technically in World War III right now, but we're just in the beginning stages of it. To get real quick in Matthew chapter not Matthew, but Isaiah chapter 9 and 5, it says, "For every battle of the warrior is with confused noise and garments rolled in blood. But this shall be with burning a fuel of fire." Yeah, because as we know, when you look at the ancient times, the battles and wars that happened, well, it was basically soldiers against soldier, on foot, swords and shields and whatever. And I mean, even now that happens in a sense, what soldiers are on foot with their guns and attacking one another with concerning, whatever country that they're in. But mainly, that when we're talking about war, or World War III, even though it's going to be a war in the Middle East, you're going to have troops fighting one another. Mainly the most damage that's going to be made is going to be from those missiles, those ICBMs. So it says again, Isaiah chapter 9 and 5, "For every battle of the warrior is with confused noise and garments rolled in blood, but this shall be with burning and fuel of fire." Yeah, because that's what World War III will include. Burning and fuel of fire, which is exactly what those nuclear missiles contain. Fuel of fire, and once they emit, it's going to be great burning and devastation from them. Yeah, so again, and you can I'm gonna put these links in the description as well to these articles. But hey, we clearly see the times that we're in right now. But again, it's just wars and rumors of wars. Don't start running. Building hiding in your basement, which you shouldn't be doing that regardless. But I mean, without a doubt, I mean, it's probably some people, they're really preparing, doomsday prepping and stuff. And which, hey, again, until this MLTB is mandated, then don't really expect the great, basically World War III, all nations bombing one another. Again, the mark of the beast needs to be implemented. So I'll read again Matthew chapter 24 and 6, which again, these times that we're in is definitely exciting times and very interesting times. But it also says, Matthew chapter 24 and 6, "And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet." Verse 7, "For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in divers places. All these are the beginning of sorrows." Yeah, and again, can this period between the implementation of the mark of the beast, as we know, it could be, again, the next few months. The MOTB, as we know, just a lot of news is coming out. The Neuralink and just this RFID implant being put into the news, just more and more of it as we speak. Easily this mark could be implemented this year, next year. As we hope, we hope that it can be implemented as soon as possible, because that's what we're waiting for. As we know, it needs to happen in order for Yahushua to come back, World War III to pop off, and Yahushua to make his return. So we're expecting these things. We hope for these things to come to pass as soon as possible. But yeah, I believe that's the point. Just want to bring that out real quick. Lord's will, you brother, let's have the edified Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahshai, Peshem Kakudash, Brakathum.